Good evening, everyone. In Sun Tzu's epic work, The Art of War, he has a number of strategies, anecdotes, and other military stratagems where he discusses different perspectives on a battle, the war, and suggests how to get around some major problems and cause your enemy to fall into the same. One of the points that he makes is that you should never completely encircle your enemy because when you do so, you make them desperate. And then they're more likely to fight to the end. Whereas if you give them an escape route, they are able to leave and thereby allow you to conquer your objective. This particular point is a point of contention among military strategists because, to great effect, encircling pockets of the enemy can allow your forces to ensure that their army doesn't survive to fight as a military unit with its own identity and integrity. And it can be very demoralizing. So that point is on the fence. Do people do better when they have nothing to lose? So if the enemy who is defending his city has nowhere to go, they have nothing to lose, are they more likely to capitulate, or are they more likely to fight to the end? And there are examples in both sides for many different conflicts. And this point has not been decisively determined. So why am I talking about this? Because the essence of this question is, to what degree is the importance of hope in your enemy as related to your success on the battlefield? But everyone agrees in the field of psychology that hope is incredibly important. If someone feels that they don't have any hope, that there is no chance of success, that the situation cannot improve, individuals will fall into despondency. They'll try to self-medicate to deal with their emotional pain, and tragedy can ensue. Parashat Behar, this week's parasha, discusses, among other topics, the laws of transferring property ownership in the land of Israel. And there's an interesting concept that if you sell property, there is an option to buy it back. That's included on the Torah level. So the first group, if you have to sell your ancestral holdings, relatives can step in, redeem it from the buyer, and you get your land back. Let's say relatives can't do it, you can do it. But what happens if your relatives are poor, you're poor, you don't have relatives? What happens then? So the Torah has the prescribed concept of the Jubilee year, of Yovel, that every 7 Shemitah cycles, every 7 sabbatical cycles, that equals 49. The 50th year is Yovel, it's Jubilee. The Torah says that among other things that take place, all land is returned to its ancestral family. It's returned to its owner. So if there was the mob, things wouldn't get so violent because, the land, the territory, the turf is going to go back to whoever owned it back in the day. And if that's Brooklynese, kind of, sort of. But the essence is that if a person runs into hard times, there's always the hope that in their lifetime, 50 years is a while, but if you sell it in your mid-30s, right, it's year 10 of the Shemitah cycle, so by the time you're in your 70s, you get it back. It's something to hope for. The exception is property in a walled city in the land of Israel. There your window for redemption is 2 years, at which point it permanently goes to the buyer. Just full disclosure. if someone would sell their house in Yerushalayim, they didn't redeem it in 2 years, they wouldn't get their penthouse back overlooking the Western Wall. Got to think twice before you sell one of those. But I think the message is that God built hope into the system. You look around America, and unfortunately, there is a tremendous crisis of people who don't have anywhere to live. They can't afford it. They get forced out of their homes. And now they're sleeping in tents on the side of highway embankments or under the overpasses to stay away from the elements. And to what degree the government's role in this is to intervene and to, buy them all homes? Well, everyone else in America, they had to pay for theirs. Well, that's a debate that, has merit on both sides and needs to be discussed. But the point being that in the land of Israel, this is never supposed to happen. You're not supposed to have Jews homeless in the homeland of the Jewish people. God built hope into the system so that someone who has to sell their property can say, I can buy it back. I can start immediately to earn my way back, to get my land back. So I can plant and I can work as a farmer, I can rent it out. I can get my assets back. Unlike in America, where sometimes it can be difficult to get that first home, particularly in today's real estate environment. Hashem built a mechanism into the system which I believe allowed land to always remain affordable, to always remain a cherished gift that every Jew would have the ability to enjoy. Because let's face it, if the maximum you can have this field for is 50 years, I'm not gonna drop ridiculous amounts of money. I'm gonna tie it to the commodity that this field produces. How much I expect the yield to be, and make an offer from there. But that's well within the realm of possibility for redemption. The seller has hope. And even if the seller, in those 50 years, he and his family, his descendants, they can't rub two nickels together to get their land back. God says, don't worry about it. You'll get it automatically. And I think that if in the laws of agriculture, we see the circle that the buyers may have to relinquish their land, the sellers become the owners again, and that there's no sense of permanence and devastation, that every family has a second chance. Poor decisions in real estate, they don't sink the family. It might take a while, they might have to wait a while, but they'll be able to get their land back. Hashem has this built into the system of life in many other ways. Our rabbis explain that the world functions as a circle, that some people are happy, other people are sad, and the circle always revolves. And it's important to keep this idea in mind. It might take a while, hopefully not 50 years, but eventually, as Hashem designed the land of Israel and Hashem runs the whole world, what's frustrating now will become a blessing. What's difficult now will become pleasant. And may we all see the goodness in our lives that's just waiting to come. Have a great week.